Let's talk a little bit about the lore around UAPs. So for years I've been following figures like Dr. Greer, essentially who claims that he has made contact and he has a method for you to make contact. Where is the connection there? Well, if you think about it, from a multidimensional perspective, what we know from, for instance, string theory is that we potentially believe that there could be 10 or 11 dimensions. Let's take back the example of the cockroach on the piece of paper. If the piece of paper were reality, the cockroach would be able to move in a two-dimensional way. Now, if you bent the paper, you create the third dimension. So nothing forbids a three-dimensional creature like myself to go and look into the paper and interact with it. So that could be a possibility. Now, if you consider time the fourth dimension, live in a four-dimensional reality, there could be a fifth and a sixth and a seventh, and there could be living things in this higher dimensional realities. And because they're superposed, they're looking at us from their perspective, they will be actually able to interact with us at their will and without us being even familiar with it or realizing that they're there looking at us. So the theory is that a lot of this, I literally have goosebumps talking about this, that a lot of these beings could be multidimensional, which means at any given moment, they could come and visit you. They don't need a door. They don't need a spacecraft. They could just open a portal and pop their heads out and say hello. So that's from the multidimensional perspective. Literally getting goosebumps. This is kind of hard to discuss. You have the other idea that because they are more evolved, they may be able to communicate with us telepathically. On the topic of telepathy, I will invite you to look at the telepathy files, which are found on YouTube. You could easily find them. And essentially, those files are based on the fact that nonverbal kids who are on the spectrum, on the autism spectrum, they may be able to communicate telepathically with other kids who are on the spectrum or their family members. So telepathy has been somewhat documented among humans. Now, you can imagine if you are more evolved, you can communicate telepathically, even through the aid of technology. We've done that. We put electrodes in the brain and been able to translate that into some form of communication.